Yo, what's going on, guys? C4IQ, Big Rant Attack podcast. I've got man like the TheoryFighter.
What's good, man?
The TheoryFighter's in the building.
Yeah, first time on one of these.
Mm.
First time caller, you know.
I think you wanted to stay cool and not jump on, but it's alright.
Yeah, I wanted to do it like once people got sick of it. That's when I jump on.
That's the best way to go about stuff. When no one hears it, and then you can just rant, and then you know that you're not gonna get any repercussions.
Yeah, man. Why do you think I started playing Guilty Gear like 3 years late?
I thought it was because of the OS.
I mean,
which you used on OSO a lot.
I did use on OSO, but only when I beat him as well. So that was when the OS came out.
It was a very entertaining OS. It was the best OS I've seen.
When you could like double your victory just through option selects, it's nice.
It was a double W. It was fucked up. It was like, oh, I beat you. How long have you been playing this game? And EX silence, mate. There was never an answer.
To be fair, he beat me in a Marvel money match, so I can probably never get my soul back. That game's dead now.
NBC 3 or 2?
I. Do you remember? We played it.
Yeah, shit. That was like the only time he ever beat you? In a set. In a set.
I think he's beaten me. He was better than me at Marvel, but I mean that's the only game. Like that's the only game. I'm not giving him anything else. Fuck that. DBZ doesn't exist in my mind.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to go about your life. To be fair, it's absolute. That's the adverts. When you see it at a tournament, it's just an advert slot.
Yeah, I don't see those like anyone playing it. I don't see their faces anymore. It's just like blurred out in my mind. Like, you know when like Charlie Brown's mum talks, it just kind of goes like, yeah, that's it. But when they're talking about like fucking blue onesie guy, I'm just like, I don't know what his words mean.
I think this is probably the only time you're going to get into it when 17 drops on Thursday. I think that's the only character you look at and go, that's cool, and you'll play like 17, 18 because 18 looks like a multi-blood character.
Yeah, I saw his trailer, and I was like, oh, Wolfling's cool. That's right. And I was like, I would have to pull out my debit card from my pocket and enter those digits in to purchase that game, to play it for possibly one match, and then never load it up again. And I just don't think it's worth it for any of us. So I was just getting annoyed.
I would actually buy you that game just to have you stream it like once a week, just to hear your opinion on it. That to me would be money well spent.
No, I'm all right. Thank you, but no.
Counter-Strike and cross-tag, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Wait, stop watching what games I'm playing on Discord.
Bro, it's Discord. I can't avoid it.
You got like a phone notification set up or some shit, like jammers.
Oh, not jammers. I don't want to see what he's doing in his spare time, mate. I'm like, I'm not getting a phone call from the FBI or some shit, bro. Scotland Yard.
Guilty by association, yeah.
Fully, exactly. You know this person? Yeah, he needs to come in, so we're going to take you in first. And yeah, we're going to use you as bait.
Just tell him you got some books. Wait behind the Nando's.
Tell him your books are back to front, like true mangas are, and there's no English in it. No, only the fucking front page has English lettering on it. Like all the rest is just moon runes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, that was nothing to do with the podcast, but it was cool to establish where we are in the world.
In the world, yeah.
But yeah, you wanted to talk about character choices, and I was like, why do you want to talk about that? So I'm just gonna let you rant, and then I'll like jump in every now and again to defend myself because I feel like this might be a slight personal attack, but it's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so there's like, I kind of play every type of character because I play I've played loads of different games over the last like 10 years. And I think you should
do an origin story.
All right. So the game that I got into was ST. When it dropped, because I'm from like the country, when it dropped on like GGPO, like a long time ago, before Street Fighter 4 came out and all that shit, I played Street Fighter 2, and the reason I started playing fighting games or taking them seriously in any capacity was my friend, like who I play Counter-Strike with, a guy called Dan. We played against each other because we were like, oh, this new thing, let's try it out. And he did Bison Slide against me over and over again and beat me, and I got super angry. And I was like, you know, I'm a fucking dumb kid. So I was like, all right, I'll go online and I will do that to someone else and be like, you know, trolling or whatever. And I did that and someone just fucking touched death me. I was like, oh, this game's sick. And that's like, from that point onward, I was like, okay, this is really cool. So I started playing Balrog because that was the character I saw other people playing. And from there onwards, I played loads of different characters. But the main thing I want to talk about is like when you're starting out fighting games, there's bad characters for you to pick. So I played Balrog for, I would say, about 5 years. It was the only game I played. I kind of dabbled with First Strike, but I mainly just played Balrog in ST. And at a certain point when, like, after HD Remix kind of died, ST kind of died with it, at least for a little while until, you know, Zero and all those people brought it back in the UK. But I was trying to transfer to other games. I was trying to learn Street Fighter 4. And I realized that I am physically unable to play fighting games. Like, even though I was able to do okay in ST and like beat some relatively like known people, I was fucking terrible at fighting games. I was good at Balrog, and and as such, I was good at ST. I didn't know how to play fighting games at all. Because with Balrog, he's like one of the best characters in the game, top 3 easily, in my opinion, I guess. And all you do with Balrog is you rush punch, which is pretty much unreactable, especially online, or you headbutt, which is pretty much the best reversal in the game, or you tick throw, which is one of the best grabs in the game. And I never had to learn real footsies. What I learned was if I do crouch strong, it beats most characters' buttons, and if I do crouch forward, it beats the other half of the cast buttons. That's how I learned. That was my footsies. And it was like, oh, you're going to do something. I just like low rush you. It's fucking safe on block. And I just frame trap and like win via that, knock you down, headbutt. I didn't know how to move in fighting games because in ST, you don't, like with Balrog, you never really walk forward ever. Like there's certain occasions, but you never really needed to do it. You could just sit there and charge and react to fireballs or whatever. So I actually didn't learn how to play fighting games way later than when I started, because I picked this insanely top tier character that wasn't even playing in the same fucking dimension as any of the other characters. I wasn't considering like matchups because I won them all. Like, you know, there was like one hard matchup. And the thing is, at the top level, like Balrog is a hard character with like intricacies, but it requires you to be playing people who are some of like amazing people who really understand matchups and really understand the game. And then they can abuse certain qualities, like his reversal's kind of slow, so you can safe jump it. But that doesn't happen, especially in ST, because safe jumps are really hard to do, until way later, like when you're playing amazing people in a modern era who are abusing that sort of thing. Like back then, and versus the people I was playing against, I wasn't getting any of that experience. I was just learning how to flowchart. And as a consequence, the next like bunch of years were just hindered by my first character choice, because I went straight to top tier. I went straight to a character who had things it could abuse. And it just kind of fucks with your interpretation of how fighting games are meant to work. And that's my main thing. Like, you know, if this is your first fucking game, there are bad character choices. There are characters that will fuck up how you think of a game. And obviously you can pick character based on aesthetics. If you're getting into fighting games, like there's a myriad of reasons you might want to pick a character. Not everyone's like some fucking tryhard like I am that's like looking to improve or whatever. You might just like the blue onesie on that character and you want to fucking pick him because he shouts a lot.
I'm raising my hand. Obviously it's a podcast so you can't see, but my hand is very high in the sky.
Like some people will do that sort of shit and they'll pick a character just because of like personality or story or some fucking shit I don't care about. But if you're trying to like improve, there are bad characters you can pick. That's my thing.
So is it like a case of your first fighting game, you pick the best character and it's like having a gun as a weapon, then you go to another game and you realise, oh, I'm picking a pen now.
Yeah, totally.
I'm using a pen in like a fucking shootout.
Yeah, completely. Because you don't understand. Like, if you're a fucking scrub, you don't understand why that character is better than everyone else. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
your reversal beats all of their reversals, your buttons beat all of their buttons. But that doesn't really, like, you have removed risk and reward from your gameplay by a massive amount. You're not considering like, oh, this button works against this character and gives me this much reward. Like, you're not doing any of that. You're just doing the one button that's fucking amazing that beats everything else. You're not learning anything about fighting games. You're just learning that character.
Do you think there's something like universally that you can learn from one fighting game and like transition that to other ones? Like, for example, let me use my backstory, which is basically Bison. I remember when I played like games with my uncles and all that, blah 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 blah. But I didn't know there was a fighting game community until Street Fighter 4. And when Street Fighter 4 came, I was like, I'm just gonna pick Guile. You can't beat this character. You'll throw a boom, and if you jump, you get flash kick. Like, you know, have you seen that Mario meme? Yeah. I just thought Mario meme. You can't. How does anyone lose with this character? First of all, and it's like, how can I not win with this character? All I have to do is crouch. So I thought, okay, let me pick Guile, and then I played good players, and that didn't work. And I was like, oh, so you have to react. Okay, so all I have to do is learn how to react, and then I'll be unbeatable. Then it was like, oh, but if I just sit here and react, there's going to be situations that they put me in where I can't do something. So, for example, if you just sit there and react, you can't throw booms. Because as soon as you throw a boom, you can't react anymore. Because you're in recovery and whatnot. So it's like, fighting games. Okay, I get it now. It's not that easy. It's not like playing AI where they have a pattern. Everyone's slightly different. Everyone's got patterns, but everyone's pattern's slightly different. So I picked Balrog in 4. And I thought, I can go through fireballs. I'm unstoppable. All I've got to do is learn to super and ultra reaction. Then finally, I was like, this is way too hard, and I am clearly not as smart as I think I am. I'm going to pick Bison. Because then I can just press one button, and I can scissor kick and have no risk reward. That was the main thing I liked about Bison. Is like, you block the scissor kick, there's fuck all you can do about it. And then, obviously, like, I played a good Geef one time, and he grabbed me, and I was like, oh man, I don't know anything anymore. Like, I might as well start playing a different game. But my first kind of mindset was to do things that were unbeatable, but had very few options. Like, I didn't have to have good execution. I didn't have to have lightning quick reactions. And then that obviously didn't apply to Marvel. Marvel, I just picked characters I liked and suffered for it massively. Massively suffered for it. And then, yeah, like every other Cross Tekken, I played Bison. I played Bayern aesthetically. There's nothing on paper that goes, you should pick this character. There's absolutely nothing. Bison, on the other hand, I think Bison's one of those characters that can't actually be bad. Maybe in 5, where he's so different, you can say he's got a drawback or an advantage. But Street Fighter 4 Bison was just below mediocre. His damage was the only thing that didn't make him super average, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a character with a safe special that's half screen, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a pretty, and it moves him forward, so it's hard. You can't really like jump forward to punish it. You know, you have to consider it. But I think it's like, it's when, to me, the issue comes when you have your game plan is so overwhelmingly strong that you don't consider the opponents.
Right.
You know? So like with Bison or with Guile or even with like Balrog in Street Fighter 4, they may have like, this is what my character wants to do. But the other characters have the ability to stop you. You play Guilty Gear, right? And you pick Johnny. A lot of characters don't have the ability to stop you from doing fucking like far-est Mistbinder counters. Like, there's nothing really there to stop you from doing that. And you have to be really up there in terms of like matchup knowledge to stop Johnny from just being Johnny at you.
Yeah.
And as such, you're not ever really understanding what the opponent's trying to do. You're not thinking about their buttons. You're not thinking about their sort of like patterns. I mean, obviously at high level you are, but like at mid level, you're not doing any of that shit. You're just going, I can do Johnny at you and probably fucking just body you. And that's where I think it's the issue. Like, yeah, some like if you pick Guile, you're sat there just thinking, this is what I want to do. I want to react. I want to anti-air every single time. I want to throw a fireball. That's it. Like, done. And that might be bad in the sense that, like, you get so entrenched in that sort of, like, game plan that you don't consider all the other variables. Like, oh, actually, if I hit the flash kick from here, I get a safe jump. But that shit's way easier to tack on than, like, making a Johnny player think.
Yeah,
making
absolutely.
a Johnny player think is, like, borderline impossible.
Would you say that he would be a bad character to start off with then?
Oh, absolutely. Because, like, you're going to spend 6 hours trying to do the, just trying to figure out cancels. Not even 6 hours. You're going to spend, like, half your fucking life figuring out cancels. And then all that comes out of it is you're, like, a mediocre player that just knows how to do cancels. And don't get me wrong, like, if your only goal is to, like, beat one person or beat your local scene, like, that's fine. But in the long run, if you're in it for the long game, like, when you try and transfer what you've learned from Johnny to other characters, if you're, like, a low-level player, it's just not going to work. Like, you're not going to be able to transfer to another game, like, and use those skills acquired to something else. Like, maybe some of the 50-50 stuff will, like, work, but realistically, like, you don't have to consider that much when you're playing that character, in my opinion. So,
like, we obviously spoke about this a little bit off stream, but what would you say if you looked at my life through a crystal ball? What life choices would you say? Like, I don't go out to pick low tier. I do like it when they are low tier, only because I think I can find something that makes them not. All right, you know what? Fuck it. I wasn't go all the way back to the beginning. Let's not go back to the beginning yet. Let's start with Hawkeye. When Hawkeye in MVCI was considered shit, and I picked Hawkeye, what was your fault?
Hawkeye wasn't, like, because you've always played Hawkeye and you're always a Zoda, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that to me wasn't, like, that big consideration. Like, I could see your game plan there. Like, I think it changes a lot when you're, like, a mid-level going towards a high level, like, your character choices. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a certain element where you're trying to pick a character for yourself, and if this is disregarding aesthetics and all that sort of thing, where you have to understand what the game's trying to make you do. Do you know what I mean? Like, so in MVCI, outside of Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, it's trying to make you rush down. Yeah. Like, it's trying to make you be as aggressive as possible and just fucking high-low people until you win. It's really trying hard to do that. And when you make a conscious decision to step out of what is the established meta, like, you have to be really fucking sure that that's actually going to be possible. And with Hawkeye, like, I guess at the time when the game first dropped, like, no one was sure whether that was going to be possible with Hawkeye. Yeah. We're all sat there going, like, well, you can reflect his arrows, so hypothetically, does that make him shit? And like, we just didn't know.
That along with the scaling on chip scaling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was like, okay, you do this forever, and I just block. Like, you know, the idea was just like, I can just fucking sit here. And obviously, the meta has shifted a lot in that short period of time where that game was alive. Like, it shifted towards Hawkeye actually makes a lot of sense, because it turns out just getting someone to block anything is a really good thing in that game. Yeah. Regardless of if they reflect it or not, it actually doesn't really matter. Just having to block, chip wasn't the reward. The reward was they are stuck in that position and you can do what you want.
Yeah, with the tag system and stuff, it's weird how, I guess with MVCI, not to fucking blow my own trumpet, but I could see that the zoning isn't how other games zoning works. So normally with zoning, it's sort of like categorized with keep away and frustrating your opponent. Well, I thought with Hawkeye, you just want to block up arrows because they can't reflect that. Yeah. So if you keep spamming up arrows, sometimes you get hit, you get a combo. If they don't, then you just do up arrows tag, and then you get left right. That's what Dual Kevin does. That's all he ever does. That's his neutral. It's up arrows, tag, down, A, teleport.
Yeah, I mean that's like figuring out your own game plan and like figuring out how you can adjust to the meta makes sense, right? But like I remember when I started playing Street 5, I just wanted to throw fireballs with Ryu and uppercut people. You know, like Street Fighter had come back, it was different. We all were like, oh, it's just going to be really neutral based. And I was like, cool, I'll throw fireballs and upcut people. And like, that's not how the game's built. Like, the game doesn't want you to do that. Every character has a special move to get through fireballs. Everyone is built to beat Ryu's throwing fireballs and uppercutting. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that is never going to work. And if I stuck with that, I would just be a player. I would just be smashing my face against a fucking wall. You know what I mean? Like, that's never gonna pan out for me to work. So there is a certain point where you have to understand, like, where does my character choice fit in this game, and am I able to do that? But I think it's a good point, though, because mid to high level is like a totally different kettle of fish. Like, when I picked in Guilty Gear, when I picked Dizzy, or when I picked Rachel in BB Tag, like, I didn't have the skill set to play like the sort of zoning rush down that both those characters do, where you kind of like put shit on the screen and use that as a way to get in to start mixing up with your good movement options. I couldn't do that. I didn't know how to. And it was a conscious choice. Like, I'm going to pick these characters so I can learn how to do that and become like a more rounded player, because there was a big portion of my game plan that I missed, you know, that I was unable to do. And if I'm unable to do it, I'm probably unable to analyze it from the receiving end. Like, if I can't zone properly, how can I possibly look at someone else zoning me and try and figure out what they're doing? Right. And I think it's a lot of like, you want to have a varied character selection choice over different games so you can really get into other people's heads and see what they're trying to do. Like, oh, they're just buffering up, down, like down forward. They're looking for a shorty. Like, they're hitting light kick. They're trying to bait me. So I won't fall for that. Like, but if you don't play it, it's kind of hard to grasp that sort of stuff, because the little nuances that come with like timing and spacing are very personal to those characters and those players. So the more well-rounded you are, the more you get that, and more you can see those sorts of like, you know, nervous ticks almost.
Right. Would you? I guess that does kind of apply to. Obviously, I was mentioning about me playing Hawkeye, and you seem like you was okay with that, as long as you can, you know, show your workings out. Basically, like, I had the concept, and I was like, okay, look, I can tell you that this is a good strategy, but I'm gonna have to use it and play it to prove to you that it's not that bad. I didn't play it much. I did Riot at Wednesdays on once or twice. But then obviously all the old Hawkeye players that ditched Hawkeye at first went back, and they all done well. Punisher, Jewel Kevin, what's the Spencer Hawkeye player? What was her name? Oh, his name. There was a Orange something. There was Peach Cola, and there was another person who played Spencer Hawkeye, and I can't remember his name.
Sure.
But it was really sick anyway. But yeah, basically all the Hawkeyes came out of the woodwork. When at first, even I was like, yeah, this character's a write-off. He can't do nothing. It's not MVC because you don't have tag. So in MVC 3, in the end, I played Iron Fist, who was the meat shield, Hawkeye Strider. And I was like, well, if you jump, then Vadra will bring you back down, and then you have to address these arrows.
Yeah,
There's just not much you can do. I'm not going to touch a death you like Zero and them lot, but it's going to be way harder for you to touch me to kill me.
Yeah, you're trying to make sense of the chaos game,
yeah,
right?
basically, yeah. And I think after Marvel 3, which was a chaotic game, it doesn't work in any other new game. I think they've gotten... I guess because people thought it was boring, I thought it was interesting. I think two different play styles it's way more interesting to watch than two people doing the same thing. To a degree. For me personally, it's not that entertaining, I guess. I mean, I guess because it's more unpredictable, you can't put... Like, so let's go back to MVC 3 with Chris G. Like, he literally won everything but Evo for like 2 years straight. And people were like, this is dumb, can't get around it, it's boring. Like, just get soul-fisted to death and missiles and all that sort of shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but even MVC 3 was strongly... Well, maybe not strongly, it was more pushed towards aggression. And he found a way around it. I know Dominion played that team as well, like, near the beginning, but no one believed him because he didn't get the results. It was only when Chris G started doing it, people were like, oh, this is actually kind of unstoppable. Like, this is actually bollocks. But then you had King Blue River, who went in with Hulk. And he was considered an online character only.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be of like a really high caliber to shift meta by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you said, Dominion was unable to do what Chris G was trying to do, even though he was doing it for longer.
And with a better team. You had to do
yeah.
for Joe on point. He is scummery when it comes to zoning.
Exactly. And like, not to say Dominion's not fucking amazing, but like Chris G was amazing at Mark, and he was amazing at that. And he was able to establish that new meta, like pretty much himself.
Yeah.
I think like there was another guy beginning with K that played that team. There were other people that played it, but like it's not to that degree for sure.
Yeah, the win rate he had was unreal.
If you want to talk about your shitty character choice, you do that.
Yeah, let's go.
If that's what we're hinting.
Okay, we'll go through it. I won't justify it, but I'll tell you the reasoning behind it because they do differ. So I guess we can start with Bison. From what you said earlier, I think Bison isn't a bad beginner character, but I'm sure you're going to say otherwise.
I don't think Bison's a bad beginner character. I agree, but like I think you've been playing fighting games for long enough at this point to know what you want to do, and if you're constantly playing a character and you're going, this character can't anti-air, like, and that was your main thing, right? It was like you got like fucking Wolfsten jumping at you like 1,000 times a game, and you got me scrubbily jumping and whiffing SPDs and shit, and like, you know, it's if you're going, I want to just play a normal fucking game, like I want to just be able to like anti-air you, throw a fireball at you, DP you occasionally as a read, and frame trap you. And that's always what you've said you wanted to do. And then you go ahead and pick fucking Bison and Leo, where you're playing the most sort of like with Leo, you're playing like, you're trying to play really clean, but then in the end, when you start losing, you have to start scrapping, and then your scraps win, and you're frustrated again, right? Like that was like 90% of the time, that was what happened. And you're like, I fucking hate this. Like, you play Leo, you try and zone with fireballs and anti-air with like 2H and the old 6P or whatever. And then suddenly you're like doing fucking half screen, like second records. And you're like, wow, I just played like shit. And I won because I played like shit. And those characters, like that character is kind of built to do that stuff, right? You watch like Tomo. Is it Tomo, the Leo player?
Yeah.
And he's not just like fucking zoning you and anti-airing you. He's like throwing a load of like, you know, the stuff that's really punishable in there, but it's working because he's like just outthinking you and convinced, like making you scared of other shit and then coming back with the dumb stuff. But like, I knew that you didn't want to play like that.
Absolutely.
You wanted to play really normal. You wanted to play fucking Kai, but you never picked Kai. So it was just one of those things where it was like, basically just frame trapped yourself, where you're going like, oh man, I have to play how I hate to win, and I'm gonna try and play it good, be unsuccessful, then play how I hate, and then hate the game. And it was just that continuously. You play Bison, you're like, all I can do is his kicks. And you're like, yeah, that's the character is his kicks and stand forward. Like, welcome to life. And then suddenly it's like, someone jumps at you 5 times in a row and you can't do shit about it, or you do like one the fucking jump medium, hell attack, and then you're like, oh okay, it worked once, but they successfully jumped the other 5 times and I lost. And it's like, I totally get like simplifying your game plan to accommodate being a newer player, and I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But I think there's a certain point when you actually know what you want to do in fighting games, and trying to do something else, or like trying to beg your character to do what you want to do, even though it's not built for that, is just going to lead to you being really fucking frustrated.
I agree. I think Bison, he's just legacy. Like, I pick him because it's Bison. There's no, like, I don't even think he looks that cool, to be fair. Like, well, Street Fighter 5 I didn't pick him, so. And obviously, when you're talking about the levels of gameplay, like I was beyond mediocre when it came to Street Fighter 4. I think when I got to Cross Tekken, I played like you, Jammers, Jibs, Dark Horse, all you lot. I did obviously like week in, week out. You and everyone else is saying it's like your Brian's cool, but the character's shit. just stopped picking him. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it work. He's got Mark Breaker. He's alright.
How could I lose?
Yeah, it's scissor kick that goes further, and I don't have to charge. Like, this is clearly the best move for me. And obviously, the same thing that happened to Bison was like, oh shit, people can just neutral jump. Just do it. You don't have to react. You just neutral jump. And I was like, okay, cool. And I did go through a period where I picked Akuma, and I did listen to you. I picked all the things you said that I wanted to do, and I picked Akuma. But he did have execution. So I couldn't capitalize much off of the reads, like walk up DP, having a safe sweep, having a fireball game. My DPs weren't on point where I played charge characters for so fucking long. That was a me problem, and I was like, yeah, I'll work on that. I never really did. I've never been a DP person. Leo was it was a shit time. I'm not gonna lie. It was cool winning. But first of all, I would not have played Guilty Gear if Leo wasn't in it. Like, I didn't care about Guilty Gear. I thought, Chip looks kind of cool, but everyone else I really don't care about. So, shout out to Sean. I know he's somewhere in the chat. He's lurking. Yeah, he's definitely in there. Sean was the biggest eye-opener I've ever had in fighting games. Like, I played like CT and we'd go back and forth, and then CT went like, oh, you need to play my boy Awesome Sauce. I was like, bro, with a name like that, he has to be shit. And he completely destroyed me when I picked Leo, and I was like, what is this character? What is my character and what is his character? Like, it was two different games. I stuck with it. I did, after a couple of months, I did play Kai, but just never in tournaments. So I played him in casual. I was like, okay, everyone's saying Kai's like the Ryu of the game. So if I can learn Kai, then I should be able to understand the core fundamentals of Guilty Gear Rev, or XR at the time. Yeah. Because Leo, like you were saying before, Leo doesn't teach you how to play XR. Same way Johnny doesn't. You play Leo and you play Johnny. And like you said, I would try and zone, I would get hit and I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to do the late thrash kick and then just do Leo stuff at you. And that's it. And it would win. And I would get frustrated because it's like, one, I didn't want to play like that. Two, I didn't think it was that good. And three, it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable not thinking. Where when you zone, I feel you think more. When you do flow charts and rush down, you're just kind of, going through the Rolodex of stuff that you've already done. And you're not respecting or assessing what your player's doing. And to me, that's the fun bit about fighting games. Like, luckily it turned out that the fun I had in Leo was making reads with counter. That's it. That's the only fun I had, because it was like, because this only works if I am smarter than you or if I outthink you. Everything else I'm doing is shit. So I'd always just go into back turn just to prove a point. So I played, you're right, I played Leo terribly. I did not play that character correctly whatsoever. Fucking ever. And maybe that's what kind of helped with the success, because I didn't play like normal Leos for half the match. There was definitely half of the matches where I played like any other Leo, but in neutral, I tried not to establish that game plan. I'll be like, look, I want to try and 6P you. I want to try and make you jump. I want to try and go back to the Mario meme with Guile and make that work. But ultimately, against good players, even like mediocre players, like, it doesn't matter. Like, that sort of game plan is only going to make me more upset. And I never frowned so much winning in my life. Like, they were dark times.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. Like, Darky, this is quite a name, in the chat is saying, like, how do you know if a character's bad for learning if you're just starting? And that is that's a hard question to answer. Like, I'm not saying that everyone needs to go out and pick ordinary guys. Like, you don't need to always pick Shotos and stuff. But, like, you need to you need to play around with the game and understand what the game's about. Like, understand the game at its core before you start, like, just focusing super heavily on the character. Like, and realize where your character is different to others. And I guess that will come from playing different characters and, like, experimenting with the game. But you have to realize what your character's trying to do, where it's better than other characters, where it's worse. And then you can, like, figure out where you sit in that. Does that actually sit with how I want to play this fucking game? Am I getting anything from playing Leo trying to play fucking neutral? And if the answer is no, and you're not happy doing the fucking second wrecker from everything, then like maybe that's just not what you want to do in a fighting game. And at a low level, I guess it matters way less. But like when it gets to the point you've been playing for like years and you're actually kind of like, you have what you enjoy doing in fighting games. And that might be fucking Tekken Rekka, but it might also be anti-airing. Yeah. And those are like different things, and a lot of characters can't do both. So you, for yourself, need to like play around with the game enough to figure out where you fucking sit in all of that. You know? And that's hard for a beginner. I mean, that's why when we did the GUI Gear series, we had like suggested beginner characters. And a lot of it wasn't just based on like who's fucking easy. It was like who's actually playing the game as well, you know?
Yeah, playstyles are definitely something that people overlook, I think, when it comes to characters.
And also, your playstyle might fucking change. Like in Cross Tekken, I used to be the most defensive player. I used to be happy to sit there for 99 seconds. Like
how times have changed.
Yeah, and now I'm a rushdown player, right? And I really enjoy like crazy movement-based characters. With Balrog, I didn't move. Like I just did rush, like a low rush. That's it. And now I'm playing the complete opposite to how I've played for the last like fucking 6-7 years. And but that's now what I enjoy. I want to figure out how to approach people. I want to think about my own aggressive patterns, not just defensive ones. Like it's a different sort of like approach, and all of this changes over time, and it's all about like your grasp of the game at large, and like really trying to figure out what this game is trying to make you do, and where you can bend that, where you can break it, and where you just fucking fit into it.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up because like going on what Darky was saying, like I didn't know what I wanted to do until Marvel 3 and it didn't work, but I still had fun doing it. Where I was playing Cross Tekken and Street Fighter 4 a little bit, luckily I had like people like you saying this is what you need to learn if you want to make this character work, and I was like, yeah, I'll learn it. I somewhat learned it, but I didn't like doing it. But you need to establish whether you want to, if the getting W's are more important than having fun. And in Cross Tekken, I was just focused on not losing all the fucking time. It was like, I don't want to be the worst player here. I'm picking these characters. I'm going to have to learn to play these characters. Or when I went to Marvel, I messed around with a few characters. I played like Trish and Wesker and all that. But I was like, this Hawkeye team, even though it's probably worse than... I used to play Wesker, Cap, Trish. I was like, it's probably worse than that team. Like the Wesker, Cap, Trish team had unblockables. So I felt like, oh, this is slightly meta. It's not touch of death, but it's an unblockable. It's closer to a top tier team than the Hawkeye team, especially with Iron Fist on point, and I'd change it to Chris or some shit like that. But I had way more fun playing the Hawkeye team, even though it was like, it wasn't like meta. There wasn't many Hawkeye players back then. There was Vadras all over the place. Everyone played Vadra, but Hawkeye Vadra wasn't really a thing. But I had way more fun. I learned a lot more, but I couldn't prove none of it. But I think in Cross Tekken and any game I played Bison, I always improve slightly, where I'm like, okay, I can add this to my gameplay. And it's like, yeah, I can't anti-air because fucking whatever. Every now and again, I'll do jump medium, get head attack, get like 10% and feel good about myself because I felt like I've improved to be at being better with that character. Not that I'm getting better doing what I like doing.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because I think that time is long gone. Like, I don't feel I can do that anymore. Like, DBZ won't let you do it. Cross tag, possibly, but I'm not playing Rachel, so I'm going to give it a hard no.
Oh, mate, why are you not going to play Rachel?
Because I've got execution.
I've got Twitter videos to show you.
Mate, if I did play Rachel, it would be upsetting for everyone because I play on hitbox.
Yeah, the execution's probably not that hard for you.
I was going to say I'll give it a try, but I probably won't.
You're not going to give it a try.
I mean,
let's just establish that.
I mean, this is a nice segue into the other aspect of picking characters, which is aesthetics.
Oh my god!
Aesthetically,
get Jabbers on here. He's more fucking fights about this shit.
He's in the chat. I know he's waiting. He's waiting for me to say it. But yeah, aesthetically, what are the other characters pick? Beowulf and Skullgirls. I'm kind of anti female characters. Bar Jury. I think Jury's cool. She's like the only female character I think looks actually. And Baiken, but they both share the same quality of just being mad angry. Like I like angry characters.
Specs characters. Yeah, that's fair.
So other than that, I'm like, look, I just want to pick mandem characters like Beowulf, Nash. I liked because I thought he was. I think he's cool. I don't know why. He's got blonde hair. So
I don't actually understand that.
I
get all the other character choices because they're all vexed or evil.
Okay,
Nash is just kind of whack.
I'll tell you why.
He's just poverty. Like he's Fisher Price Guile. He's the Duke of Guile.
Okay, look, I'm gonna have to break down the law for you.
Oh my days.
Nash is Guile's like higher up. He's higher ranked than Guile. He throws a boom with one arm, one hand, instantly better. And he is the smuggest arsehole in the universe. He like you don't see it because of Street Fighter 5, but in Alpha and in the comics and shit, he is a smug arsehole.
Yeah, and he got brown breaded, mate.
But back then he wasn't.
Sewed back together. Like look, you can say that like the two arm fucking booms like worse. He had to get sewed together.
He did get body, but that is my life. That is my life. I thought I was gassed.
My bastard gets bodied, sick.
Like I pick characters that relate to me, and Nash relates to me. Funnily enough, later down the line, because when I picked Nash in like Alpha, and I was like, yeah, he's cool, better Guile, and obviously I started with Guile's, he's unbeatable. Yeah. So I went to Nash. I was like, yeah, this is cool. He's fucking arrogant. He went to try and beat Bison on his own because he thinks he's a bad man. The Street Fighter 5 came along. He got bodied, and I was like, huh. This is cool, and that's why I like Vegeta, because Vegeta is literally second place in everything. He's always second place, and I think if you kind of go with that mantra about trying to be better than someone, you've always got a reason to try and improve and learn. When you get to the top, you kind of get complacent, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I like being second because there's something to go for. Like I always said that Sean was better than me. No, I wasn't making it up. He was, and if Sean didn't play that game for as long as he did, I probably wouldn't have. Because I wouldn't want to have to fucking travel up to Manchester all the time to play Shady. Because he was the only one who, at the time, looked at my videos where I said, this is the gap in my shit, and punished it. He was the only one who did it. He's still probably the only UK player that throws second record on reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong there.
But other than that, Leo looked like a Super Saiyan. Vegeta... Nash, blonde hair, like had to pick them because they remind me of Vegeta. It just so happens that my characters end up being shit. Like Nash wasn't shit in the beta, then he turned out being shit. So people were thinking like, oh, you're just saying that because I picked low tier and I like to bitch about it. Nash was legit shit from the beginning. It's only because people were winning with him, people thought he weren't shit. He was shit. The beta Nash was good. Game Nash was shit and he got worse.
But his dash, C4.
Oh my gosh. What was it, like 14 frames? And I think it was 14 frames where he doesn't move. Then he moves. And that was clearly putting people off so they couldn't tech. It's like, why do you take? You just buff up. Go play Jibs. And then tell me that Nash's dash is good.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jibs is buffering shit from like 2 days ago.
Yeah. So, but he won like Nash's top 8 all over the place in Evo, whatever. They nerfed his dash. They took like 2 frames, or they added 2 frames to it. He never had nothing off his throw. His boom game was shit. He never had a 3 frame normal, and even his EX flash kick wasn't invincible. But character was good. Character was good. Can you believe it?
Teleports, mate. He's got a teleport.
Oh, do you remember the teleport, bro? Oh my god! For the first year when no one did meaties in that game.
And that was sick. You go out of like every corner position, everyone.
Oh my god, what reversal? It's like, fucking just get good, please, just get good, and this character's not that good. But I don't purposely go out to pick low tier characters. I pick them out mostly from aesthetics or nostalgia, being a Vegeta. I think, I'm trying to think of a character, like, Hawkeye was the only character I picked because I was like, you've got lurgies, I don't want to be near you, you're random, stay full screen. That's like the only character I pick. I haven't got any Hawkeye combos and none of that shit. He was just the gameplay. The gameplay was fun why I picked him. I think everything else is like nostalgia. But if we talk about you and your character choices, if we categorize them, I think a lot of them be in the female category.
I guess Rose.
Yes. Probably the oldest one you pick as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the lore or any of that shit. I just kind of pick characters that are like fun to move around with and do shit that like I think's meta and interesting. It's got room to explore. Like, I mean, all the old characters I picked, which was like Balrog, fucking Honda, Rose, all that sort of shit. That's all just like very considered like what works for me. And then now it's just like I just pick shit that's fun to do and I think has a lot of potential that's not being explored, you know. That's just really enjoyable. But yeah, like the character aesthetically, the character's fucking bait as shit. Like Dizzy is like fucking ridiculous. But luckily I'm not the sort of guy to have like my back characters in or any shit like that. If I was, I'd probably care more about the aesthetics of my characters. If I like, I'm looking at your big Rant Attack picture right now and it's got your blue onesie guy on it.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's Vegeta.
That is Vegeta, yeah.
So it's like, if I was about that life, I would probably be like, well, I'm not just gonna have a fucking giant picture of Dizzy here, am I? That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, that would never be you. That would never be you.
That would never be me. If I did, I'm sure I'd care more about like, oh, what this character's fucking lore is and all this sort of stuff. But I'm just not that guy. I just can't like. After about 30 seconds of like, oh no, like after I pick the character and see like kind of close my eyes during their intro and then we're playing, it's just like big moving hitboxes to me. They could be fucking stick men like or stick women. I ain't give a shit. Like, you know, I don't see.
I respect it.
But it's just like, I think people are more invested in like lore and like aesthetics and, you know, like nostalgia, like you said. I mean, like for me, I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, you know, every once in a while, Street Fighter 5 drops a new character and everyone, including myself, pretends they're going to play the game and like maybe plays it for like a week or whatever. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I'd play Street Fighter 5 dropped Honda. And I just thought about it and I was like, you know, I played Sakura for like a hot minute and I was enjoying myself.
Yeah.
But I realized that like if they drop Honda, he's not going to probably be E Honda. I mean, the Sagat player's got lucky. Like he may be fucking, like some people are saying he's whack or whatever.
Yeah. He looks like SF4.
Yeah, exactly. He is what they thought he should be, you know.
Unlike the Cody players.
Yeah, exactly. The Cody players are just like, unless they really fucking care about how this character looks, like they're fucked. They just sat there going like, brilliant. Like this character is not what I wanted. And I think the same would happen if they dropped Honda. Like I like how Honda looks. He's a fucking sumo that throws you about. That's tight. Like, but like, he's not gonna be like safe head block, on block, like. Anti-airs everything. I can do stand fierce from like half screen away and buffer into a super if I see a hit. Like that shit was what was cool to me. It was cool doing 100 hand slap motion. Like,
right.
If that was a cool circle forward, would I enjoy it the same way? I don't think I fucking would because I wasn't in like picking that character just based on aesthetics. I'm nostalgic about how the character plays and how it felt to just sit there and just do 100 hand slaps for like 50 times and then anti-air someone. Like that was sick to me. That was so much fun. Like playing against Luffy and doing like Ocho gimmicks. That was cool. But like if he was suddenly like, I don't know, through fireballs or like he was like, oh, meaty into frame trap into whatever. I don't know if I'd enjoy that because that's not actually what I'm nostalgic about.
Yeah.
So,
it's the whole gameplay over like aesthetics. I mean, I felt the same about Bison. I tried Bison in 5. I was like, that's not the Bison I know. Like in no alliteration, Alpha, Street Fighter 4, like even CVS, like it doesn't. This is a different character. This is Michael Bison. That's what Street Fighter 5 Bison. He's Michael.
Yeah, fully. That's like, I think Bison is like another character. It's kind of like you outside of Alpha and to a lesser degree Street Fighter 5, like you kind of know what you're getting with this character as soon as he drops, right? Like you know, there's two Bisons. There's Fat Bison and Thin Bison, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing like chunky cookie dough Bison, then that means that you've got a projectile. Your scissor kicks might not be safe on block, and head stomps obnoxious as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're playing skinny one, that means that you've got safe on block scissors and like probably no anti-airs. You know, like they're the two categories of Bison.
Yeah, I thought I liked Chunky Bison, but I didn't. It was definitely Thin Bison because I played Bison in MVC 2.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
But
he's Chunky Bison.
Yeah.
But MVC 2 Bison's sick because safe on block well, actually not safe on block, but he's got scissors in the air. That's pretty sick.
That is pretty godlike, yeah.
Like, I really like their translation of Bison to versus game. Like, just give him his fucking specials in the air. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
like,
that's what he needs.
That's so sick.
Now he's
like,
an air dashing character.
Like, oh, he's still got a head stop, but it's like, yeah, it's like, doesn't really work, does it? Just fucking leave it in. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
It's pretty fucked. I guess he's like one of those archetypes where it's you can't change it much because then it won't be the character. But then they did it in 5. I think it's a good change. Like, it's cool. It's not me, but I like how they did change him in the end. Like, he would have got stale. Like, I'm surprised he survived that long just having scissor kicks.
Yeah,
and
no,
Psycho
totally.
Crusher.
Like they felt as if they needed to do something to change him up. And I don't necessarily disagree with his changes. I think it might have been a bit annoying if you were that guy that wanted to do just like scissor kicks and that's it.
Yeah, scissor kick and roundhouse. That's not the character you pick. That's not the Bison you want to play.
Yeah, your roundhouse has gone. Like that's heartbreaking. Like Bison's roundhouse should always be straight leg or slightly raised leg. That's it.
Yep.
Roundhouse and forward are those two buttons, and anything different is like a fucking that you're going to hell if you make that character.
Yeah, that's terrible. It is pretty bad, but yeah, I see what you're saying. They did change him, and it was kind of warranted. I mean, I think Saga is the only kind of legacy-est feeling character, even though it might not work as well as it did in 4. I know you, like you said, you messed with Sakura for a while, and everyone was saying she was shit. It didn't seem like you played Sakura like you did in 4 or Alpha. Well, definitely not Alpha, but 4 and 5, your Sakura sort of changed until she got a knockdown. Then it was
totally. It was like I was trying to play a game that doesn't really work. Like, I wanted to just do stand light kick into reaction. Like, that's it. I just wanted to do that. That was all I played Street Fighter 5 for. It was like, I'm going to watch you whiff a button. I'm going to pretend that I'm 16 again and that I have the reactions to punish said button. It turns out I'm not 16 and online's really fucking bad on Street Fighter 5. And I can't do any of that stuff anymore. So you knock down and then you become any Street Fighter 5 players because you just do meaties into throws, into meaties, into throws, and you just get really fucking bored, turns out. I mean, not to say that's an excuse. I am bad at Street Fighter 5, but, you know, it's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I'm nostalgic about. And that's me being an old fuck as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
back in my day.
But exactly, dude. I dropped when Street Fighter 4 came out. Yeah, I played it for about half an hour, and I saw a what was it? I think it was like I picked Ryu first, and I did like an ultra, like wake up ultra.
Yeah.
Because in ST, doing wake up supers and shit like that is like pretty standard affair. That's stuff you do. Anyway, someone traded with my my Wake Up Ultra, and I didn't play the game for another 2 years. Like, I was so fucking angry that shit had changed because I'm just this fucking idiot that I got super bummed out on the game. I was like, well, this isn't Street Fighter to me. This isn't what I remember. And that is me being an old fuck, but like, you know, there's still that element to it. It's like, this is what I'm nostalgic about. I'm nostalgic about doing like throw with Balrog, walking under, doing crouch strong, and then getting another throw, which I totally didn't earn. But like, that's why I'll never play Balrog in another game, because like, to me in my head, that's my frame of reference of what this character is and what I'm nostalgic about. I don't give a shit what the character looks like. They have all the nostalgia costumes they like. It doesn't make fucking ounce of difference to me. They have nostalgia gameplay where I can headbutt every person in the game because whatever. Like, yeah, that's that. I'll be on that. But You know what I mean? It's just not for me. Like the aesthetics of the characters is never really going to bother me. I think that's why I don't give a shit about DBZ. I'm stoked that other people are really enjoying it, and I'm really glad that like people are getting into air quotes air dashes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like I never watched DBZ. Like I'm literally a white person from the country, like fucking of course, and I I never had that sort of like connection to any of these characters. So when everyone was getting nostalgic about moves that they had seen in the fucking anime, and they're like going, yeah, this shit's cool, like, and then they see it translated into the game, and they're like, wow, that's really cool. They've actually like communicated what my character did into this fucking game.
Yeah.
Now I can play as this character. Like that's a really good way of playing in nostalgia. And there wasn't like obviously there were other DBZ fighting games, but they weren't like air quotes fighting games. You know what I mean? They were very different. So there was like no real frame of reference outside of what the fucking anime or cartoon did. And I think that's why everyone's super attached to that game. It's like they have that connection where I don't have that connection. I just see people homing dash and get like a tear runs down my eye as I sit there and go like, why are people just jumping constantly and like homing dashes? Don't you have to aim this stuff? And it's like, nope, but one button. I'm behind you, motherfucker. Here's a cross up.
Yep.
Like, all right, sick.
I guess it's like the whole. It's kind of like Marvel 2 to Marvel 3, where like Marvel 2 players waited 10 years for. Sorry if the people get upset. Hope Osa's in here for a shit game. Like Marvel 3 was a shit game, but they waited so long and then they got it, and it's the same thing. Like it's the game that we knew we was never gonna get, and it actually happened. Like everyone was like, oh my god, they made a, like you said, an actual fighting game for Dragon Ball Z. It's like. We never thought this was going to happen. Now it's happened, we have to like support it because nostalgia, because we wanted to keep doing it. But if you bring someone like yourself who has no attachment, I think Ultra Dave is like the same. He will look at the game subjectively and go, "This isn't fun." Like if there was no Dragon Ball Z characters, would anyone still play this?
Yeah,
and I don't think they would.
I'd agree. I don't think people would be that stoked on the game. But like at the end of the day, that's important. And I mean, I guess like this podcast, I'm coming in super opinionated, which I always am on like people, like the mechanics of like who you pick and stuff. But at the end of the day, if like you're super stoked on this character, like, and it makes you play a fighting game, then fucking do it. All I care about is you playing fighting games. Fighting games are rad. Play fighting games.
Yeah.
Like. You know, like just do it, and whatever it takes for you to do that, then fucking do it. I played Balrog for 6 years and loved it. You know what I mean? Like, did it help in the future? Fuck no. The worst decision I could have possibly made for myself. But I don't know if I would have, if I got fucked up every time I played because I picked like Blanca or whatever. Would I have pursued fighting games in the same way? Maybe not. Who knows? Like, maybe I was just like. Getting comfy with like being able to do rush punches and not think. So it's a balancing act. You've got to like, there's a lot to consider when you're playing a fighting game because it's so much time investment and there's no one else there to like, unless you've got a local scene, which at that time I didn't. Like, there's a lot there that you have to consider. If you have a local scene, like. Getting whacked up's not that bad because you just go out and smoke with your mates afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a local scene, there's got to be a reason for you doing any of this shit and continuing playing. Like, most multiplayer games, like, you can play Counter-Strike with your friends, and if you get waxed up and you're not with, like, a bunch of, like, dickheads, like, it's funny. Like, it's just cool. Like, it's like, whatever, we got killed, like, I'll blame like fucking Dave over here who like whiffed the AWP shot. Like you can do that. When it's all on you and your mistakes are your fucking fault, dude, it's hard to firm sometimes.
That pill turned into a pine cone, mate. It's like literally swallowing the pine cone. You just can't do it. Like you can't accept it.
Yeah. It's really fucking difficult. So yeah, it's a complex topic, but I do think that like, you know, if you're at a point where you're like really invested in this, like you need to have and the aesthetics are kind of wearing thin. Like you do need to think about who you're picking and the like, is what that character about what you're about? Because like, don't be like C4 and pick a character that is unable to do the shit that he wants to do, and then fucking be pissed off every time you win. Like that's
I mean, yeah,
such an unhealthy fucking way to play fighting games. It's like beating people and then being like, fucking hate this game now. Like,
it's the strongest anti-meta. Like when you don't like winning because of how you're playing, there's literally something wrong with your life. Like, how can you not enjoy winning? And I would say, like, yeah, do what I did then. Literally, I might put down a shirt. Just don't do what I did. Like, it was pretty shit. Like, even the aesthetics and trying to stay loyal to fucking Vegeta didn't cheer me up. It just gave me. It was just justification. That's all it was. It was like, well, if you don't like this character, why'd you pick it, Vegeta? Can't argue. Like, that's it. Like, that's my answer. And there's no debate about it. Like, I've told you why. You can't tell me not to like that character. And I mean, I did try. It just didn't. Nothing ever come out of it, bar trophies and money in my pocket. But it still didn't make me happy. It actually did not make me happy. Like, if you go see the pictures of when I won versus fighting, Rad had to tell me to smile because I was not happy. And Ambi told me as well. Yeah, like Ambi and Rad aren't too happy. I got told to smile, and I was just like, "But
mate, like you're doing a school photo."
Exactly, it was absolutely school photo time, and my mum was behind me saying, "Why are you not smiling? Are you not happy? Do I not feed you? Do I
£5 for this fucking printer? You better smile. I'm gonna send this to your fucking gran. Like, sort your shit out."
It fully felt like that. It felt like I was being super ungrateful. It's like I didn't have fun doing it. Like, it kind of felt like work. It kind of felt like work, and it was a bit shit. But yeah, going back to obviously like the topic, there was Nefi and Rabbit were mentioned. Well, Rabbit mentioned that Sean played a lot of other characters just to get like an idea of what they're about. Sort of like what you said when you're picking a character. Nefi was saying as a troll about Soul, and I was thinking Soul is probably the best character to pick as a beginner character in GG. Maybe him or Sin. I don't think Kai is that good. I think you have to play before you go to Kai.
Yeah, I think Kai's a hard one because he kind of is a lot of counterplay.
Yes.
So you have to really understand a lot to be able to make him work. But I don't know. I've never like started with Kai before. Like, I don't. Maybe it's possible to learn all that shit just playing Kai, and like, because you have to observe more to be able to win. You have to observe. But this is assuming that people are capable of cognitive thought, which honestly, I'm not sure is possible with some people.
I think 98.7% are not.
Oh my god!
I know you hate it. I mean, I could say other stuff that would make you annoyed, but let's just stick with that. Chances are,
get a phone call from my lawyer.
Chances are I will. Chances are I will definitely get a phone call from your lawyer. But yeah, would you say that Soul's? If obviously we've done a lot of like stuff with Guilty Gear. It was a while ago, but now I'm looking back on it. I think we said Sin was a good starter character.
Yeah.
I'm sure we must have said Soul. Because now I think back on it, it's like, if I told anyone to get into the game, if you want to win, pick Johnny. If you want to get good at the game, pick Soul.
Yeah, I mean, Guilty Gear is kind of like one of those games is kind of an exception in a lot of ways because it's such a fucking hard game. Like, I think we had Leo in the list of characters to pick, right?
Yeah, if you want to get wins without, using much brain power, and if you want to prove that everyone's shit, Leo's a good character to pick.
To be honest with you, dude, like, if you look at Guilty Gear, it's a pretty niche game with a really die-hard fan base. So, like, starting Guilty Gear is fucking scary. Like, if you're not the person, and there's a lot of people that aren't, that just happily take L's. Like, I enjoyed losing in Guilty Gear. Do you know what I mean? That's why I started playing it. It was like, I can lose in this and it's not a big deal. But for some people, losing is a fucking big deal. Yeah. And eventually they stop giving any kind of a shit about the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and so part of it is like, you need to get like one W, and maybe doing Leo mix-ups is to like enough for that confidence boost for you to continue playing.
Yeah.
So you can get to a level where this sort of analysis about character choice and meta and what other people are doing is possible.
That's true.
Like, that's what I say about GUI is like in Street Fighter 5, right? I can at any point in any day at any time find a player of any skill level, and I can play a set with. And that's awesome because it means that I can experiment with character choice. I can experiment with all these sorts of things. In GUI Gear, that's actually a really hard bargain because like everyone's fucking sick. Everyone plays that as their only game, and suddenly you're like, cool, am I going to pick this character I don't know how to play and get fucking waxed?
Yeah.
Because, like, that's the hard thing. Like, times where I've played around with other characters in GUI Gear, at a certain point, I go, Jesus Christ, let me just pick Dizzy. Like, because you're just going to get fucked up because the game's so, like, got such a high skill ceiling. GUI Gear is, like, to me, the exception because you can't easily find people of a low caliber to, like, test shit out. You're testing it against like, oh, this guy won this tournament, this guy won this tournament, this guy's been playing for like 50 years. You know what I mean? Like it's a hard space to do that in. But that's why I think with Guilty Gear we chose those specific characters because there's ease of access to W's as well as like what is going to be beneficial for the future.
Yeah, I think you definitely hit the nail on the head. When it comes to GG, it's its own entity, really, isn't it? Like it's really hard to sway people from the character. Like even when I see like a pop player, I'm like, are you bad at life? Like, but then you go say, well, if you look at someone like Fab, he would inspire you to be good. Like, I know, like you started with Axel, and that wasn't your cup of tea.
Yeah.
And then Dizzy came out, and that's all you did. Like, had people you had like literally fucking once a week to play it. So, what about playing multi-character teams?
I'd say it depends on the game.
Yeah,
I think it's always a good thing to have played multiple characters, right? Like, it's always a good thing to figure out what a character's about, so you can counter it and you can like improve as a player. But I think there's always like the line sometimes gets blurred where you're going, am I like trying this character out and trying to figure them out, or am I actually like learning a new character? Like, am I actually trying to make them like a secondary or counter picks and stuff like that? And in Guilty Gear, like picking characters for counter picks is like, you don't really see people do it.
It's basically unheard of.
It's basically unheard of. Like, you can probably count on your fingers how many people actually have like counter pick characters, and you know, like even then they're probably like Machabo and Kazunoko are the two people I can really think of off the top of my head.
Yeah,
pick counter picks, and they're like, you know, like don't compare yourself to them. Like you're not, no one's that guy.
Absolutely.
But in Street Fighter, say, it's actually way easier to learn new characters. Like, it's not as hard. Obviously, like, you can go overboard. Like, in Street Fighter 4, I kind of played everyone. I didn't really take the game that seriously, so I played everyone. I could actually pick most characters and, like, play, like, mediocre players and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me learn the game to improve Honda, that complex, because he was just, like, headbutt, 100-hand slap, hope for the best. It helped me like appreciate what they were trying to do versus me. But I do think there's a limit to how far you can take that, and a limit to like how much it can benefit you. Like I said, Guilty Gear, like trying to learn loads of characters is cool at the start, but as soon as it starts to get deep and you're learning like wake up timings and shit like that, like you got to think, is this actually now a good use of my time? Because now I've figured out like their sort of like routes, what attacks I'm looking for, how I defend versus certain things, how I attack versus certain things. And then, but there is going to be a point pretty quickly where you're learning like all your option selects, you're learning all like 4,000 combo routes, character weights, wake up options, like really like fuzzy guarding certain things. And you're like, is this detracting away from my core character, or is this adding to my core character? And it's just kind of establishing those two things.
Yeah, I think it's super hard, especially like even in Marvel 3, you didn't really see team swaps. You might see one or two characters change, like Clockwork. He went from like Phoenix to Virgil, but he's always played, Strider Doom like every fucking versus game. He kind of like adapted his team to the meta, per se. You get people like RMZ in DBZ who will just float around teams, but he will play the teams so that it looks like he mains that team, if you know what I mean? Like, you can...
Yeah.
In DBZ is one of those games, basically, where it's sort of like Infinite. Infinite, you don't have to learn a character. You can play every character basically the same. But if you want to optimize them, you have to learn specific routes or combos or neutral, whatever. But you can still do ABC launch, ABC, and that will take about 50%. Like,
yeah.
For the most part. And DBZ is sort of like that as well. But you do get people like RMZ who will play completely different teams, and it will look like he knows the characters individually. But RMZ's been around for fucking decades, pretty much at this point. Like, he's been around for a while.
Eons, man.
Yeah, and I honestly think that you should pick a gun and stick to it, even if it ends up being shit. At least if you start getting whacked up, you can be the cool guy that picks a gun or some shit. Like, you can get popular. Get something out of it. You might not get any money.
100% win ratio.
100% win ratio, mate, because you only got picked once in tournament. So you can be that guy.
True.
But yeah, like you said earlier, like from the get-go, it definitely depends on what level you're at, and where you want to go with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Ash Ketchum and be the best in the fucking world, so I pick Leo. Basically.
Yeah. Totally. It's a really hard thing. Like, with learning any sort of like complex thing in life, it's really easy to talk about this shit retrospectively and figure out like where you fucked up and stuff, and it's very hard to do it in the moment. Like, I could turn around and be like, oh cool, like Rachel's just fucking me up because all I'm doing is like Tiger Knee projectiles and just zoning people, and I actually don't understand how to anti-air properly. But I don't know yet. Like, it's like you got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
And just actually analyze what you're doing and how the state of the game. Like, watch tournaments, like what works, what doesn't work. It's just all about figuring shit out and like just getting the game at large. And it's why watching tournaments is so important. It's not just about like finding out cool shit your character can do. It's about like, what actually are people doing in this game, like, and why is it good, and does it apply to me, or how do I get around it?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I guess as we wrap it up, what would you say would be your advice? Say, I don't know, ST beginner TheoryFighter came up to you, the Roy fighter, and said, who should I pick? I'm going to be playing games for a long ass time. Games are obviously going to evolve, but what should I start with now?
Start with a character that has got an archetype that isn't overwhelming, right? And I guess that's really fucking elaborate advice. But pick a character that isn't just going to dominate in one way. Like, someone that has to be versatile, someone that has to think and can't just flowchart people to death. Be that zoning flowchart or fucking rushdown flowchart. Someone that actually has to adapt and learn the game. Don't pick anyone whose archetype or has one thing that's so fucking powerful that they never ever have to do anything else. Don't pick fucking Vega and just wall dive at people and win, and base your whole game about getting a knockdown so you can wall dive and win. Like, don't do that shit. Actually fucking pick someone that's like a bit more mediocre or a bit more rounded. That'll be it.
When would you say is a good time to go to that? Because obviously they are a good character in their given game. The tactic or strategy that doesn't translate well to other games is good there. So what is there, like, would you say there's a time limit, or would you say like when you understand fighting games, then you can pick the cheap shit and be the next Takedo or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's when you're improving, because like, if your character's top tier, you need to figure out why they're top tier. Like, Takedo is good at picking top tier, right? Everyone goes like, oh, he always picks the cheap stuff. Like, how do you think he fucking figures out what the cheap stuff is?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not like waiting for fucking like jammers to upload a video on who's top tier. He's figuring it out himself because he's able to think about the game and think about what other people are trying to do and what he's trying to do. Like, and loads of people pick up top tier characters. Loads of people fucking play Kami. Like 99% of them are shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it does, just because you pick a top tier, it's not going to mean anything unless you understand why they're top tier, how to abuse the stuff, and why it's good when you do abuse it. So I think it's when you get more comfortable in the game, like, and you start to fucking understand fighting games, then sure, go to straight to a top tier character. Fuck it, like get some W's. Who cares? But like, if you don't get fighting games yet, and you're not at the point where you're able to really figure the fucking game out, like take an active part in that game. Don't just sidestep meta by picking top tier. Like beat meta by picking top tier.
I mean, that sounds like sound advice. I wish you was there when I started.
I wish I was there when I started. I would have told myself to lay off the booze, probably.
Oh, that's not good advice. That's not fun advice.
It's not fun advice. It's really good advice. Like, all I should have said is really, it's just like, don't get so drunk at casuals where you can't remember the matches you had. Because it's really hard to learn matchups. One time I played against fucking Inos versus Bacon, and I was absolutely hammered. I couldn't remember fucking anything by the time I got home.
I mean, I don't think that alcohol made a difference, to be fair. Like, she's like, I know is one of those characters. She just does stuff at you. You know they're overheads, but your muscle memory and your humanity won't let you stand up for more than 2 seconds. It just won't. Like, you just can't do it. There's something you can't unlearn is stab blocking. Unless you're a Tekken player.
Unless you're a Tekken player. And then you don't even have to block, you just let go of the stick. Let God take the wheel.
I mean, a lot of people do that nowadays. Face running.
They're mashing jab at the same time, though.
Button monkeys. They're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. But they're all good. They're all good button monkeys because they get W's, so, you know, that's all that matters at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's true, man. It's true. Fuck a shimmy, just mash jab.
Fuck a shimmy. Gootix is turning in his bed.
Mate, his legacy is destroyed.
I wish I could get him on a podcast just to say, like, did you envision you walking back and holding forward would equate to Street Fighter 5 being hyped for like a year and a half?
Yeah. Did you think that what you did back in 2000 would be the whole of the sequel for Street Fighter 5?
Oh my
I think this would be only viable strategy for non-command grab characters.
He should.
Fuck off.
He should get.
You fucked everything up.
He should get royalties, mate. Every time there's a shimmy on screen, he should get royalties. Like, he's been doing it from time, and people going, "This is hype. This is." Oh, did you see him walk out throw range? Oh my god! Like, and then he walked back, and it was like, I'm sure he was probably the first one to say, like, "So why don't you just do wave cut sweep?"
Yeah, possibly. But then, you know, well, that's why PL Barrog evolved it and did walk back red focus.
This is true, and he fully charged it.
Top 8 at Evo with like that fucking body taquido by just walking back, doing focus. Sick.
What a time we live in. Now it's super dash the game.
Super dash the game. Just sit there, 2H stuff. I hate that I know how to beat Super Dash. I've never even picked the game up once.
You're halfway there of being a good player. Honestly, just jump on.
Yeah, I'm gonna just fight. All right, a DVC.
Mate, it's the same with you saying just pick Gordo and fucking Soul Gem, and Grim Reaper. Like, it's the same advice, and I'll be like, oh, if I did do that, I'd probably be alright in the game. But I don't do it, and I want to play neutral with fucking Narukami and get Rachel from full screen and be like, oh, that was enjoyable, wasn't it?
Just frogs, just dive bombing with frogs.
I literally play that match and go, have I got 2 bars? No, then I can't win. That's literally how that match goes.
Mate, when you do have 2 bars though, it's like, fucking, for me, it's just like, okay, my character doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, if I do anything, I get punished. All right, let me just fucking sit here a bit sad.
I mean, it's very, very rare, but I'm telling you, after this podcast, I'm gonna play Wabba for a bit, then Kanki's coming out. DBZ. I know, but I'm going to learn kanji, bro. I wanted you to do a stream and for you to show me what I need to know with that team, because I'm going to go into it thinking, oh, this is cool, and then you'll be like, oh no, there's something that blows it up. So I'll be like, nah.
I don't know what the fuck kanji's about, but
Grabs, air grabs, grand grabs.
Just grips in.
Yeah. He's EX grab on the grand, I believe, is fully invincible, and it's super quick, which kind of defeats the point of being super invincible. But
mate, just call an assist before you do it.
Narukami assist though, which one? So many choices of shit assists.
So, I mean, it's good enough, man.
I think I'm going to look for OSs for like anti-air grab, cool, Narukami, and...
Are you going to learn your first OS?
I'm going to have to.
Mate,
I mean...
I feel like you're getting married, and I'm just like...
Mate,
up.
We played fucking Street Fighter 4 the other day. You know all I do is crouch kick. That is the original OS. That was the birth of OS. That was the amoeba of OSs.
It's true, man.
And I do it in Street Fighter 5.
Playing Street Fighter 4 was just like... I felt like a Vietnam vet that went on holiday, where I was just like having flashbacks. Like when I did the fucking headbutt Ocho option select to come into it, I was like, oh my god, I can't. This well is so fucking deep. I just need to stay away. Like, I don't want to be like the next ring. Like, I just need to stay away from wells. Just keep my head clean.
It must have been really annoying for you because I was super baffled. I was like, oh my god, what was that? And you're like, the same thing I did to you years ago. You still haven't learned. You still haven't fucking learned. You can't do that shit to me. I was like, did you just guess? Did you? I'll be playing too much Dragon Ball Z, so I thought it was a guess.
Yeah.
And I wanted to clap, be like, that was a sick guess. But then you said it was no. It's just like, oh, okay.
Wait, I've never ever made a good read in my. Like, let's be honest. Like, I've never, even when I try and make reads, like, you know, there'll be like one game where I'm really begging to do something cool, like a deep walk up DP. No, I'm just so bad at that shit. Like, it always fails. I have to be like 7 layers deep in option select lasagna to do anything. Like,
I think that's a testament to your upbringing. They taught you right and wrong. And the right thing to do is be safe all the time. Don't put your hand in the fire.
Babe, just buy condoms every day just in case.
Just in case, yeah. I mean, that's probably better advice than what you said about picking your first guys. Buy condoms every day, people. That is
stockpile. What if there's a latex shortage? What are you going to fucking do then?
Shit.
Right.
But yeah, that's... I'm going to let you take your condoms to CSGO.
Thanks, man.
Gonna need the protection. But yeah, where can people catch your stuff? Obviously, you're the UK's God's gift for BB. That's
yeah. I mean, I'm on Twitter if you want to find out how to do fucking weird conversions with Rachel and Ruby. I'm on Twitter. I'm trying to stream more on Twitch. Just kind of like team mode stuff and hopefully some sets with some new people. And I'm also on YouTube if you want like guides and all that sort of stuff. None of this personality. Like, just all completely dry, no fun allowed. You have to be there an hour minimum. You get kicked out.
Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, hour minimum. Jesus. I'm gonna have to get him on the podcast and ask him about that.
What was this? I've got this. I saved. I want to hang this on my wall.
Yeah, that needs framing. That's up there with Frost saying no more friends. Fucking no Infinity friend. Gauntlet. It's no more friends. He just clicks his fingers and half the FTC just disappears.
Wait, he has house party. When people turn up, he's like, "Fuck off! I'm playing Arcane Hearts."
AI, the only competition I can get. Fucking shouts to Frost wherever you are. But yeah, that was a theory. The Roy Fighter.
Cheers.
Giving his opinion on stop picking shit characters when you start fighting games.
Or two good characters.
Oh yes, no, don't pick Johnny, don't pick Rog.
Yeah.
In the respective games. Pick someone in the middle and try to get good. God forbid. Try and get good. Then go pick the good shit. Like, I mean, sound advice. Or go play dive kick. Go play 2-point dive kick.
Go play CSGO, that's what I'm going to do.
Go get that money. Oh no, that's
Yeah.
Fortnite, innit? Oh no, CS:GO's got loads of money in it. Yeah, go play
It's got
CS:GO.
loads of money.
But you have to actually be good at that.
Yeah, which is like, if you're over the age of like 6, you're not allowed events. You know? like
Wow.
fucking old man with your reactions. Like, just get the fuck out of it.
PTSD, mate. Everyone's Punisher. Everyone's been to Vietnam, mate. That's how you get good at CS:GO.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to be enrolled. But yeah, that's it for another podcast. I'm gonna try and do it weekly, so every Tuesday, as well as every other Monday. Gonna do cross tag. I don't know if Theory knows this, but the next one, not the one coming up, the next one is meant to be you versus Kiba.
What?
Oh, someone's not looked at the Discord. Someone's not looked at the Discord.
Oh my! I've never played Kiba in my life.
Well, this would be a good time to do it. You got 3 weeks to prep.
I'm prepping for Revo, my guy.
Oh yeah, you got Revo. You probably see Kiba there.
Yeah, I do want to play him, but
Best Rachel.
well, I guess this will be my opportunity.
Yeah. So you got 3 weeks. It's gonna be 2 weeks after Revo. So you can have your cooldown from winning. Like your arms will be recovered from holding that massive trophy, and then you can play Kiba with his I don't even know what he's playing now. Fucking Jubei plus one.
Stone.
Is it Jubei Wallstein?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like all my matchup experience versus whatever. Anyway, we'll fucking do it.
Yes.
Get
All
it.
right. So yeah,
Sick.
the next one Monday coming is going to be Shampooist versus Snake Belmont.
That'll be a sick match.
That'll be a sick match.
Shampooist is super good.
And Snake Belmont plays Grim Reaper. So that's always
Snake's
fun.
best be practicing, man. Otherwise, he's gonna get fucked.
Yeah, he might get fucked. But he plays a lot of games, to be fair. But now that he's seen the card, he's like, maybe I should just practice. So I know he will. He's good at like fucking loads of games. But yeah, we've got that, and then 2 weeks after that, we're gonna have you versus Kiba, and I'm probably gonna try and commentate that because I have stuff to say.
I'm gonna fucking mute the shit out of you.
Good. It's for your good. That is definitely for your good. And yeah, obviously Wednesdays we do DBZ, onesie, fucking Kumite. Tomorrow we've got two players. Oh, Anthony, aka Fire, and Spartan Throne, Marvel 3 head from I believe up north. So yeah, stay tuned. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll stream. All the other days is for the other UK streamers to stream, and I'll host them because I'm such a good guy. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Peace.
Peace.